Can you come closer? Can you come closer? This is the meetup. Come on, guys. If you don't need a table, come here. Please. Front. Don't be shy. This is the meetup. Who's shy can stay back. But who's not that shy, please come closer, because it's even nicer for me. But for young organizers, it's even more important to see your faces. And hi, I'm Clara.
Hello, my name is Barbara.
That's Barbara.
This is Clara.
From CEE Hub.
From Czech Republic.
And CEE Hub.
And CEE Hub.
Okay, so we are like the cultural, I don't know how to say it in English, but we should... Police? Okay, no. So we should just introduce the important people in the room, because we started CEE Youth some years back.
2023.
2023 spring.
Summer.
Yes. And since then, few things happened, but we are not here because of that. We are here because we want to introduce you the people who keep the wheel going, which is Nikos from Greece, which is Nur Sultan from Kazakh, right? Ayana from Kyrgyz. Sorry, I always mix these two. And Caner from Turkey, and they are like if you need anything, they will probably tell you more what they are doing. And they are like the rest of the group with like different, some of them already too old, right, Marie? But it's not yet. Yeah, you're not. But she's boo to me. No, I'm talking about myself. Sorry, it was me. So. Words to Nikos, right? Yeah, so come on and enjoy the youth meetup.
Session.
It's not a meetup.
No, it's a session.
It's a talk. It's session.
I missed it. Oh. It was hours ago.
The CEE Youth Group, this is, just to clarify, this is a session. We will talk in groups in a few minutes about the future of young Wikimedians and how to improve the presence of young Wikimedians in the movement. The CEE Youth Group, founded in 2023 under the CEE Hub, unites young Wikimedians from across Central and Eastern Europe and Central Asia. Our main goals are to amplify youth voices in the Wikimedia movement, exchange knowledge and skills, and foster cross-cultural collaboration through workshops, events, and active participation in regional and global initiatives. The youth group is a youth group of young Wikimedians between 18 and 30 years old. We are doing capacity building, we are doing training sessions. We are also working to increase the capacity and the skills of young Wikimedians in Central and Eastern Europe. We also work to unite the Central and Eastern European Wiki youth so that we have a stronger representation in the Wikimedia movement. With the support of Barbara and Clara and Tony from the CEE Hub, and Carolina as well, which are helping us a lot during the 2 years. Together, the CEE Youth is sharing ideas and is growing with the Wikimedia community, brings new blood, new ideas, new and progressive thought to the Wikimedia movement, and shape the future of young Wikimedians together with the young Wikimedians all over the world. We also played a role in doing the youth conference in Prague in 2025 as peer facilitators. Now, the main thing, now let's go to the main thing of the session, which is discussing in 4 groups led by me, Nur Sultan, Caner, and Ayan about various topics on how to increase the presence of young Wikimedians in the Wikimedia movement. So let's jump into the main topics, into the main part of the session. So, the introduction by me about the presentation took a few minutes. For more than 30 minutes, we'll talk about, we'll discuss in groups the following topics. Engagement and motivation. What motivates young people to join Wikimedia projects? What communities can do to help young editors stay active long term? Table 2, tools and fun. What tools or platforms do young people enjoy using for editing and learning? What games, contests, or challenges could make contributing more fun, says Table 2. Table 3, community and mentorship. How can experienced Wikimedians support young editors without making them feel pressured? How can local communities create a welcoming and inclusive space for youth? Table 4, future. Table 4, what role should schools, universities, or NGOs play in bringing youth editors? In 3 years, what would a successful Wikimedia youth movement, 5 years, a successful youth Wikimedia movement will look like? So, for the next 30 or so minutes, we'll be discussing about, about these 4 thematic units with under the leadership of our 4 facilitators of the session. Then, by around 2:40, we'll discuss about the results of this of the discussion.
Okay. And who has which? And Nikos, do you have any topic? Who's the leader of the topic?
Its topic will be led by either me,
Yeah, but it's easier now to tell who will lead which one. So you have so Nikos discuss engagement and motivation, Nur Sultan discuss tools and fun, Ayana discuss community and membership, and Janer future vision. So please find your leaders, they will distribute here in the room, and if you can create a group with them and discuss, would be great. Once again, Nikos discussing engagement and motivation. Nur Sultan, he's the fun guy, so tools and fun around. Nur Sultan, Ayana, that's community and mentorship, and Janer has future vision.
share the results of each group. I will begin with the results of the discussion that we had in my own group, in the table 1. We mentioned, regarding what motivates young people, we discussed how this can be done because they like Wikipedia, they like being involved as a volunteer, or because it's because for some duty like a university project. But we also mentioned how it can be useful for research and how Wikimedia can be useful to build skills, to build to make you a better person, and also how useful Wikimedia can be for your CV, for your future, for your upskilling as individually. Also, what we talked about how to help young editors to stay active long term. We mentioned mentoring. We mentioned that the fact that there is no enough mentoring networks, and they are often informal and not standardized. So, and many Wikimedians are not interested to do it for various reasons, like mentoring networks can be vague, for example. Or we also talked about that the sense of community is often missing, and the sense of support is often missing, which is pushing out a lot of people in the long term. So we thought about, so one thing we mentioned was gamification. So gamification can help the young Wikimedians to find a more rewarding experience in the Wikimedia movement, and increase the possibilities for people to stay into the movement. And finally, we mentioned also that we should support each other. The community should support the young people as Wikimedia, so that we increase exactly this sense of community.
Yes. So our best group talked about the second tools and fun. So my group and me also really enjoys using books, different websites, news sites, different variety of authority sources. Myself, I also enjoy Wayback Machine, of course, for archiving the sources. Some of us enjoys physical library, digital library. For the second questions, we really enjoy contents, some different wiki contents with different topics. Some people enjoy wiki marathons, editathons without any exact topics, yes, with souvenirs, of course. Really enjoys from their contests, or different contests from their past, from their life. And each of our group motivates different topics, like each of us. We are not the same, we are different. So yes, I think that's all. Table 3, please.
Hello everyone. So we are the group of community and the mentorship, and we had really good discussion about the successful campaign Wiki Club in Armenia, which could be a really good example for us. Since I come from Kyrgyzstan and we don't have affiliations user group right now, so that's why it could be a really good example for us. And as for Romania as well, since they have lack of young Wikimedians. Thank you very much.
Hi. As future vision table, we talked about the schools, universities, and NGOs' role play bringing young editors. We gave some examples from universities, high schools, etc. And we talked about young involvement in moment, like leadership, mentorship, etc. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for attending this session. This session, organized by me, Ayan Nursultan Caner, was an amazing session, and I hope that it enriched your understanding on the importance of youth for Wikimedia movement and how we can help as Wikimedians to bolster the presence of young people in the movement and support them in their place, in finding their place and scope in the Wikimedia movement. Thank you.
issues for years with media freedom and media pluralism, the lowest levels of media literacy in the whole European Union. So, of course, these are all connected, but just to provide you some context, we are, I would say, vivid community with 24 years of history, the Bulgarian one, but we don't have a chapter, we don't have a user group, so we are not yet, or still, or for now, organized in a proper way. We had this year's situation, it was of course not the first one, but this one was specifically close to my heart, with just journalistic coverage in different media, electronic media, but also websites, republishing a claim by a journalist, a person who is presenting herself as a journalist, but also as a researcher based in New Zealand, who claimed that Bulgarian Wikipedia is under the power of 20 administrators, that it is total censorship that is ruling the project, and that it is, there is a Russian connection, and the Russian connection is the administrators. So that was the specific case, and probably important for the story is that the journalist who, in fact, invited the person to present her investigation on the Bulgarian Wikipedia is a colleague of mine, a very dear and very respectful colleague of mine who years ago was one of the journalists in Free Europe, the Bulgarian edition, so it is recognized, and again, it is a person who I very much respect, but in this case, what struck me most was the absolutely, the total unpreparedness of the journalists, not only this one, because here is another outlet which is fairly well read, recognized in Bulgaria, with the title you can see, "Who is turning Bulgarian Wikipedia in a propaganda weapon for Kremlin?" So it was very targeted, specifically to administrators, all of them, and you can probably recognize some of the faces here. Let me show you. Yeah, you will recognize definitely some.
What's her name?
The name of the person is Tanya Stoyanova, and I would express my deepest respects to her as well, because she is daughter-in-law of one of very famous satiricists and dissidents from the communist era, fighting against the regime for democracy. So the, how to say, the reputation of the person, it could be seen as high, even if she is not based in Bulgaria, so she's having her own website. But she just popped up in Bulgarian media space with disinformation. Here you can see probably famous, some of you who participated in CEE meetings or Wikimania before will recognize some of the administrators in Bulgaria, in the Bulgarian project as well, and Jimmy Wells at the center, with the caption, "Russian connection," there. And the deceased is Spasimir, unfortunately, who is not already with us. So that was a huge shock for our community, without having the structure to respond really properly to this communication wave, to the spread of this communication. And the truth is, from communication perspective, that this is not the best approach, to be reactive to some claims. Negative, it is too late if you try to build up your reputation from the beginning. So that is probably the context. Here is another media outlet. By the way, we in fact tried to overcome the narrative, because we believe in freedom of expression, and that bad speech is tackled with good speech, and false claims are just debunked with facts. And this is something that a colleague of ours in our community, who is also very active in Wikidata, tried to do in this outlet, Media Pool. But after a few months of some kind of silence, the editor appeared in our project very actively and started confronting and spreading not only on wiki unfounded claims regarding why, for example, some of her edits are reversed or commented or disputed, but also started doxing the administrators, even those who were not using their real names, started doxing them, harassing them, calling them Kremlin orcs or genders, or gender is a slang term in Bulgaria for connected to the Istanbul Convention against violence, domestic violence against women. So Bulgaria was one of the few countries that never ratified that. So to call someone a gender is to say you're from the third gender or something like that. So that was people for their color, where they are working, and things like that. So it was very ugly. The good thing here is that after reporting, I don't know, probably the foundation has something a finger in this, but her profile was suspended. And this attack, for now, it is mitigated. But for me specifically, as a member of the organization of the European journalists working in media literacy field and working in media for many years, was important to understand the issue from its very beginning, the roots of the issue with journalism in public interest, and how journalists who are not competent, who don't understand how Wikipedia is functioning, and are having a person with a good reputation, having some claims regarding the project, how to educate them or to provide them the necessary resource to start, look with curiosity and with some humbleness to Wikipedia, distinguishing the main thing is to distinguish Wikipedia, even if it's an online platform, from social media. And that volunteer editors and even administrators are not moderators in the sense of social media. Last, and I will go to you, is an attempt to show you what this fact sheet is. It is from 10, I would call them sections or something like chapters. These are the chapters of this guide, what Wikipedia is, what is not, understanding governance, community dimensions, behavioral norms, content creation, misconceptions to avoid, Bulgarian context and Facebook scandal. And again, here, very briefly in one paragraph, to explain what is this Facebook scandal and how this is connected to the whole case with Wikipedia. You know probably something about the moderating process on Facebook, that it is outsourced to contractors who are hiring people around the world. Usually these people are not based in the country where the language is spoken. In the case of Bulgaria, it was one company called Telus, which were doing the hiring process and subcontracting the moderation for Bulgarian language. It is not, we don't have a proper evidence, but from conferences and some appearances, we know that probably around 15 people were involved in Germany and probably Ireland and United Kingdom, in the moderating process. And because after the war of Russia in Ukraine, the aggression against Ukrainians, a lot of profiles and pages of people who are critical to the government and critical to Kremlin were silenced in one way or another. Moderators were blamed at Facebook for this one, for the suspended pages and all this. So without any evidence, one organization started doxing these moderators with their real names, with their photos, and things like that. So that was the situation. And this created this whole, this whole narrative about paid moderators who are like sock puppets of Kremlin, who are silencing all the dissident voices or everyone critical to Kremlin in Bulgaria. And this thing, this structure, this idea about moderation is directly transposed to Wikipedia. We all know that this is not the case, but it is very difficult to even start this conversation explaining, but these people are volunteering, why they're writing, why they're editing, why they care, why they're removing some content, and why they're not removing another content. This is the context. This is the context, so that is this 8th chapter about the specific Bulgarian context, and I imagine that here when we start this discussion, and when I can have the chance, and all of us have the chance to exchange some stories, examples, something that happened in your local media environment space, we'll see if you have something similar or different. And the idea, after all, is to have these guidelines for ethical reporting, and the last one, to explain to journalists what is at stake, why do they need Wikipedia as repository, as a hub for their publications, and in fact, as a project that is becoming more and more trustworthy in the age of synthetic content, synthetic internet, and things like that. So let's go. Thank you. I will show you and repeat it. Okay.
The mic is,
okay. The questions are, do our local media projects need this response? I mean, guidelines. Do you think that your local community, the journalists in your country, do they need such kind of the type of guidelines? Of course, they are already shareable. Probably it would be, I will share them, I will upload them, in fact, after that to Commons for everyone, and we can edit them. There are examples, there are a lot of links, of course, to help pages. Most of them are in English, just for the reason to be something like a common language. My idea is that we can translate all guidelines in our language, but we start with the question about the need from the marketing perspective. This is the first question.
It's a question of clarification, because I think I missed the first 2 minutes or something of your introduction. Is this regarding to what the foundation put out, the press kit, basically, where they are trying to explain to everyone outside Wikipedia what the Wikipedia is?
It is not for everyone. It is targeted to journalists, because there is some difference to even to the power. This is the checks and balances are in journalists, and they have, of course, in the public sphere, they are the active and very important part in the public sphere. And many of the misconceptions regarding Wikipedia come from media coverage that is not presenting properly, I mean truthfully, how Wikipedia works, who is editing, what is the purpose, what is the intent, how to research it, how to make some investigation, or how to be transparent if you're doing research, as the lady in this, our heroine here in this case, how to make a transparent research. Because I looked if this person somehow announced there is a whole project on Meta for research. It was not, I mean, and she claimed that she's doing this research for one Dutch university. And I got in touch with the director, and he denied that there is anything in common. To me, that was the job of the journalist, to check its source and to see if it's... So it is really with the thought of how journalists work, what they check, how they think, what is the whole process of creating, characterizing your object. That it is.
I will add something. What's the agenda of that respective journalist? What I noticed from my experience is that they do not get it, how Wikipedia is functioning. Yeah, you'll talk to them and they will, yeah, we know, we heard about it, but we don't understand the process behind. And they do not have even the curiosity to question, to write to a user, because the user will provide more information about the structure than any official from the foundation or anybody else. So everything starts from that moment. And I'm not surprised it can escalate to cases like this, but yeah, we have so many mechanisms in order to stop this to happen, and it's such a pity that what we're trying lately to do is to gather a community of journalists, to have a field trip with them, and to explain, to open up a little bit, you know, how we're functioning, how this user group is functioning, how Wikipedia, how the ecosystem is happening, and what's the health state around it. Because we're talking about the most trustful platform in the world at the moment right now. And of course, it's normal to have question marks with all the conflicts that are happening.
Yes, thank you. What I was talking about is that the foundation has been starting to release information of how Wikipedia works to counter exactly what you've been talking about, because I think, to jump off of that, I think that Wikipedia and Wikimedia projects as a whole, but especially Wikipedia, is being used as an political tool, right? To it's not to necessarily sow disinformation, it's to sow doubt into fact-checking areas or into reliable information, sources of reliable information. And I know that the foundation has been reacting to the attacks by the Trump administration, who have been using Wikipedia as like a leftist conspiracy, maybe even. So to counter this, of course, and this is always the hard part of it, is that you can make the attack very quickly, but it takes a long time to rectify the consequences of this attack, because you have to do education, and education is slow, and it means that people need to get an awareness. But it's also an opportunity. It's an opportunity for people to learn how Wikipedia actually works. So it's always, I always try to see it from both sides. But to come back to the main question, yes, I do think that people should know how Wikipedia works, how the content is being created, of course. And for it to be even possible to be used as a political tool, there has to be ignorance around it. And we have to combat the ignorance around Wikipedia. So we combat the disinformation about it as well. Right.
Can I give an example, or is it too early? Okay, so Ukraine here, hi. So recently we've faced a challenge when one media released an article that one of our Wikipedians and administrator, I think he's a patroller, I don't remember, but the thing is that he like nominates to delete the article about a Ukrainian military man who was killed, and for example, he was like putting it on delete because it violated the rules. For example, it wasn't sourced enough. So that there was exact reasons why he did that. Did that. It wasn't because he was like, I don't know, against Ukrainian soldiers, like he's Ukrainian, and he heavily involved in a lot of documentary and everything. They just released it. We didn't have a notice like from Wikimedia Ukraine. Nobody asked us questions. Nobody wrote to him. They just put it. And this media is not really reliable. It was in scandals before, but still they see the average person who will see that they will think that Wikipedia is like some kind of a bad platform that is against Ukraine and Ukrainians. And actually we had to prepare really quickly, we had to prepare how to write an article about military men, especially about Ukrainians, because we had some like difficulties about that. And one of it was that you need to follow the rules. Even though we understand that people want to memorize it, to be Wikipedia like a little memorial, but at the same time Wikipedia is not a memorial. And I know that it's hurtful, I understand why, but at the same time we need to communicate it with people because they don't understand that it's not because of the topic, it's because of the approach that the person took to write this article. And even sometimes we had cases where people were reaching out to us, for example, families, and said like, we didn't want this article to be here. It can be, for example, if the person is captured now, it can only like violate, they say, some kind of safety if they had that. So we were reached out, but usually people think that they can just like write about everyone and they're offended. And I understand why, but like it was a really tough communicational case for us. So I think actually this guide will be quite useful because I understand why it's so sensitive topic and it's hard to deal with it. So that's like one of many examples.
Thank you very much. And yeah, Wikipedia is not probably we can add a memorial in this case.
The comment on how one Wikimedian was accused that he was against Ukraine because he proposed an article about the soldier for deletion, right?
He just like the articles weren't wrote right way, so he nominated it to be deleted, to be excluded from Wikipedia, and that was used as an accusation that he like violates the memory of the fallen heroes, like this way.
That came to my mind a really interesting case of another situation where there was negative publicity against Wikimedians because they did something right that conforms with the policy of Wikimedia. In 2024, some of our colleagues deleted some articles about Azerbaijani soldiers who were not notable, and they weren't. The articles weren't having good sources. They were having non-neutral sources, and the articles themselves were also not notable. And there was a lot of negative publicity against the Azerbaijani community from government-controlled media of Azerbaijan. And the thing is how some politicians and businessmen often use Wikipedia for, often generate fake impressions to the people about Wikipedia just because they don't, because Wikipedia doesn't conforms with what they would like to show outside. This is, in the one side, it's really sad that some people is affected by this negative news about Wikipedia. I mean that they believe that Wikipedia is not neutral or it's going against the country or anything. But in the other side, it's really good testament that we never fall to anyone, and we always uphold our standards. That's good that we, despite the pressure, we always uphold the neutrality standards and the notability standards.
Sorry, made another example. At the beginning of the year, we always put this a big press release about the most popular Ukrainian articles in Ukrainian Wikipedia. But before that, one article was released, and actually the main goal was that Ukrainians use Russian language Wikipedia this much. I don't remember the numbers, it's not actually necessary to know that. But the thing is, it's a sensitive topic and it's a rage bait topic. And the person decided to focus on that, and actually it manipulated that Ukrainian Wikipedians are not enough, they're not providing enough information, and a lot of people will think that, but Ukrainians don't want to read in Ukrainian or whatever. So it was also manipulation, but the statistics, a lot comes not only because the person was intentionally using it, or sometimes it uses it because the article is not available in Ukrainian and they don't know English, for example. That's just how it works. It's not because someone is bad or someone is not loving Ukrainian language, I don't know, but that was a speculation. and it was from a really good media, and it was disappointing. And that's also why we need to work with it, so they know how it works, and so it's not really such a big deal that they can make it, and you don't need to, and you haven't to use it as a rage bait for your interactions with the audience to cause comments wars.
I think I want just to say, I think this is just habitual. I mean, when some people often, I mean, you mentioned that someone used this comparison between Ukrainian and Russian page used to make rage bait, as you say, right? I believe it's because Ukrainian Wikipedia has very much articles and has a lot of content. It's actually one of the largest editions. I think it's probably habitual, much how, I mean, probably it's because some people are used to read mostly Russian, similarly to how in Greece many people tell me that they will just go to check English or even German instead of reading Greek. So I believe it was so I believe that some people may use still Russian or English due to being used to search information in this language as well. But I believe that was really a rage bait that made negative publicity against the huge efforts of Ukrainian Wikimedians.
More than experience, I wanted to ask you how the fact sheet was received by the journalists. I'm really interested, as it's a really comprehensive guide, and wondering whether people would read it, use it, change their view, if you reached out to the two journalists that actually had reported, and like how is the guide being useful? And I'm really interested to know more about the work you do with journalists, like the photo, the field trips, because I think there has to be like several ways of engaging. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the question. And in fact, I think that we can make it more unscripted, this discussion, because what everyone is saying is more important and is bringing us in a specific direction. A few things that I missed to say is that this is a draft version. I hope that here we can discuss first the need, second the content, what we need to be there, third, if we could localize it for our versions, not only the language, but the examples. The same way that reading Wikipedia in the classroom, this great resource by Wikimedia Education Department, is localized for the different languages. So what we can do next is to connect with journalists in our countries through organizations like journalistic organization, and do like a feedback session with them. If it is useful, if there are still too many answers that are not unanswered, if it's too complex, because I very much like, for example, the format of the 60-second Wikipedia explainers, the video explainers, which are fantastic, and they are very good for for social media with shorter formats and videos like Instagram or TikTok. So it could be turned into something like that. It could be multi-platform. Also, my impression was that even if I found one project that was connecting Wikipedia with journalism, and one like essay from an American professor or assistant professor on this, it was from 2010 or something like that. So there is no very easy to reach and find resource like that. So it could be really appropriated for different cases. Yeah.
It's on our list to do it, so it hasn't been done. But let me tell you what we intend to do. During one campaign, let's say Wikimerzișor, as we did last year, we invite several journalists. There's a community of users who are coming, or we're editing together in a very nice place in downtown Bucharest. And the idea is to bring journalists as well and to make them interact. a starting point of the campaign and of the movement to explain actually the process behind, and then to leave the journalists interact with the users who are editing on the spot to have full transparency on the process that is happening. That's the intention, what we're having planned for, I think it's March 2026. And another way of engaging with them, we're having now Wiki Loves Monuments Moldova, and we didn't get the answer of a famous Romanian journalist in time because we wanted to involve him on our bike quest to gather the community around, and we know he's super involved in all sorts of biking contests and raising awareness of let's use the bike because it's eco-friendly. And the intention is to bring an outsider, in this case the journalist, inside of the community who's doing stuff for a campaign. In this case, Wiki Love Monuments. They're photographing and biking together. This is another way of doing it. And I think that's the way to open up, from my point of view, and for them to engage in a very honest and transparent way with the movement.
If I could ask you something regarding, because it just popped in my mind, because we are trying through our affiliates or on a central level to reach, for example, teachers, to teach with Wikipedia. To me are very obvious the reasons that this could be a little bit challenging for journalists to have an ideathon, for example, for journalists. But let's name it. Let's try to outline what could be the prejudices or some tensions. We share the same interest to inform people, to create information in public interest, to follow standards and principles, and to create factual and verifiable information. And still, there is some tension. If we could just discuss what this could be, why it could be more difficult to bring journalists who we will train to edit articles, to create content and things like that, if there is some conflict of interest or whatever it is, but let's think about it.
Not only the same interest, we have the same process that we're doing. We're researching, we're having a background, we're using sources, we're writing, we're rewriting, we're editing, we're quoting, we're doing all sorts of stuff. So the process, it's so common, and still we can have interviews with people explaining, okay, to have journalists in the newsroom, not to know how Wikipedia is functioning, for me it's, what, really, how is it possible? We're talking about 2025. So, yeah, it's...
Hello, everyone. I wouldn't just argue about anything, just I really want to share something from my own experience back in Albania. For a while, let's say for the last 6 months, during the academic school year or like academic university period, we've had a certain, like for 6 months, an experience with the university, a public university in Albania, especially with the faculty of journalism. And it was really great because, like, at the same time, the reason why we stretched and extended this kind of experience was that alongside the lectures, like how news is produced, what's like fake and real news, and at the same time students were learning different types of tags and what kind, how they can treat the news and what are the reliable resources and so on. And in the end, it just like they try to also include some information, especially in, for example, in historical, also a little bit part of journalism tags, like articles on Wikipedia, and also like literary speeches, which was very important for them. For example, how to use satire, how to use like metaphor, allegory, which are very important, and how like the language is produced and it's like used in both like literary or encyclopedia articles, but also like in journalism language. So this was like very productive collaboration with the university, and hopefully we can continue working like that. But I agree with all of you, like with all the speakers so far. So raising awareness, teaching people, educate them properly, and working closely with them, educators, professors, or like professional journalists, so like everybody can get together and understand why we are all trying to make Wikipedia better. One time, this is like from my personal experience, I had like not a completely like fight with it was not a fight, it was more like a kind of discussion with a professor, because they really wanted to challenge him. He was not, he was like teaching them the day, like the aggregation of the news. So these are like some terminologies I learned along the way at the university. And one time I showed him a very controversial topic, article that I personally wrote, and then he just like, I didn't tell who the writer was or who was the author of the article on Wikipedia, and then he was just like, it was a kind of conversation between him and me, trying to convince the students, was the article right? Were the resources okay? Could we verify the article, like the history was okay? And then it's just like, it's very hard to convince like professors, journalists to really rely on the articles on Wikipedia, but then it just, it was about like active listening and trying to agree on not disagreeing on different kinds of things. But what was the most important thing that we all got to like a final idea was just like only through collaboration, raising awareness, and trusting on the resources and good faith that everybody has to make something nice.
I'm curious, what were the questions or the doubts of the professor that never trusted the article he read?
I can tell you that because, like, okay, so the article I wrote like a few years ago was about like a swamp that was dried at the early foundation of dictatorship in Albania, and he thought like that the article was just a plot or the subject of a book that was written back in communism. And then I was like, but before he knew, before I revealed that I wrote the article, he thought the article was fake, and it was just like the nicest way of writing the plot of a book that was written back in communism in Albania. And then it just like, I tried to convince him like, look at the references, look at the hyperlinks. You cannot tell me that, for example, some of the people that were included in or mentioned in the article, he said like they were fake, they were not like real people. And then even though I insisted that, look, you have to click on the link and then you have to see everything is okay. But anyway, so it took like a 15-minute conversation to convince him. Thank you.
You won't need anymore.
If I could ask you if you could share some of these stories, no matter in what form, like essay or just in bullets if you prefer, a short summary, and also I will share everything on Commons. And